So yesterday we said that when the Moshiach comes, there's going to be a new Torah. And there's two explanations. What does it mean, a new Torah? One explanation is that there's going to be revealed new secrets and meanings and mysteries and things that were previously concealed and incomprehensible will be revealed in the Torah. They'll be revealed. So everything will take on in the Torah will remain the same, but it'll take on an infinitely deeper and deeper and deeper meaning to it. Right? So, I mean, I'm giving you the example. This is just, I'm making this up. Let's say you have a picture. You really like a picture and you put it on your wall. It's really very nice. And people come and say, a nice picture. And someone comes up to you and says, hey, do you know what this picture is? Look in the corner. This is a genuine Rembrandt. This thing is worth about $200 million. And suddenly, especially if you're an art appreciator, so Rembrandt, wow, this is amazing, you know. It's just a whole new, it's the same exact picture, but it has new meaning to it and new value to it you never dreamed. Lahavdil, to separate between a picture of Rembrandt and the Holy Torah. But the same thing, now we learn the Torah and we understand the Torah is very nice and we like the Torah, but we have no idea how really, truly valuable the Torah is going to be. And that's what it is going to be, a new Torah. So it's going to take new value, and that's one. Another meaning is regarding to the commandments. Nowadays, it says nowadays it is forbidden to slaughter a cow with a saw. Can't slaughter it. In the future, it says Leviathan, there's going to be a big fish and a big cow, and they're going to make a fight, a big ox, and Leviathan and Shor a bar, and they're going to make this big war, and the Leviathan is going to kill the ox with its fins, and the tzaddikim are going to eat the meat. This is going to be a real fish and a real ox, in addition to all the spiritual meanings that there's going to be. So that's going to be a new, and the Torah asks, how can it be? That's not a kosher slaughtering. And it says it's going to be a new Torah, Torah Chadasha. The commandments are going to be brand new. Okay, so first of all, you can ask a few questions about that. Who cares? I mean, that's the whole thing. Mashiach is going to come just so that we can eat an ox that was killed by a fish. And also fish kill oxes. They have to, even if a non-Jew slaughters an animal and he does it according to all the laws, the animal is not kosher. It's not kosher. How much more so a fish, right? A fish is not. And that's the whole big thing about the Moshiach, is that all of a sudden this cow is going to be permissible. That's what we're waiting for. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. What this it's a monumental, earth-shaking thing. The Moshiach is going to come just so we're going to be able to eat the meat of this ox, you know. Okay, and so it must be that this is very important, this thing about this ox and this fish, and we're going to see how. Alpis, according to this, is moving. It's understood. She's callous that the revelation of this new Torah that's going to come from me, Al Yidei Mashiach, by means of the Mashiach, Shenavi Gadol, that he's going to be a big prophet. Who chelik? This must be a portion Mechalal and of the Torah Shenitna LaMoshe Sinai that was given to Moses on Sinai. She'ein la lo shinoi v'lo b'shamayim. This is the Torah that will never change, and the Torah does not come from heaven. It comes from us, and a prophet cannot change any words of the Torah. Nevertheless, somehow or other, the Mashiach is going to change all these things because he is a big prophet. Opposite of what we just said a second ago, that a prophet can't change laws of the Torah. So what's going on over here? Okay, first of all, regarding to the revealing of the secrets of the Torah, Al Yidei, by means of God, Me'iti says that the new Torah is going to come from me. Av Shedargat, even though that this level of the Torah that cannot be revealed by means of a person, only by means of God himself. But this is Shelo Be'erach, even though that it's incomparable to human intelligence today. But one second, we just finished saying the Torah is not in heaven, but God is going to reveal new. Once the Torah was given on Mount Sinai, even if God himself says things, it doesn't change. So how is it going to be that when the Mashiach comes, that God is going to reveal new reasons of the Torah. It says Al Derech says similarly, it's going to be a Torah Chadash. It's going to be a new Torah. It's going to come from me. What does that mean? Shetetzeh min hashamayim will come from heaven, but tavo lamata, and it'll come in the world and understanding and our human understanding. How can all this work together? And of course, I mean, we still constantly we have to be asking this question: what does it have to do with me? Why is this so important? What do I care? If there's going to be new reasons of the Torah, if it comes from God, and it's forbidden to come from God, because once the Torah was given, it'll never change. So it does change, but it doesn't change. And especially the commandments. So, okay, so it changes, it doesn't change. Why is it so important? We're going to see that it's infinitely, tremendously important. And the reason we think it's not important is because we think the whole idea of Moshiach is really not that important. We don't really understand the importance of God. And the reason is because we think that we're important, even if we don't think, we feel it. So Moshiach is going to sort of take this veil of meaninglessness off of the Creator. We're going to see how meaningful God is and how meaningful the Torah is. That's going to be part of the whole business. Let's see. So how is this going to express itself? How is this going to be revealed? That there's going to be secrets, new secrets of the Torah that are up to now incomprehensible to human beings, and that this law of the ox is going to change, that a fish can slaughter an ox. Okay. Yishlomo, we can say, She'atzia min hashamayim, that it says that the new Torah that God is going to give is going to come from heaven, Lavulamata, that comes down to the earth. This is stressed by what it says, that the Torah Chadasha, that the new Torah is going to come by the Moshiach. That's the old idea of the Moshiach. Moshiach is going to be like the central peg that's going to unite all these apparent paradoxes and opposites together. She'imi yoto, that in the Moshiach is going to be a great prophet. Yigam bal chachma, he's also going to be very wise. He's going to be wiser than even King Solomon, that was the wisest man that ever lived. Therefore, he'll be able to teach everybody. Hainu, namely, Torah Chadasha, that this new Torah that will be revealed by him in a way of prophecy, in other words, a revelation from God, which we said after the Torah was given, cannot be done, but by Mashiach, Tumshach will be drawn down, V'titlabesh, and be clothed also in human understanding. And he'll teach all the people. Sheyu chachamim gedolim, that the Jewish people themselves, they will be tremendously wise. V'yodim devorim astumim. This is the language of the Rambam, Maimonides. Maimonides is a law book, and they'll know concealed things. V'yasigu das borim, and the Jewish people, they will be able to think the thoughts of God. Kafi koach adam, according to, how do you say, as much as is possible, humanly possible. In other words, the highest things of the new Torah, they will actually be understood by people. Now, this is another point. Man himself will be different. Like we've said so many times in our classes, that nowadays they say science, I have to look this up and I didn't, they say science says that man uses like 10% of his brain or something, I don't know. The biggest genius in the world, Einstein or whoever, uses 10% of his brain or 2% of his brain. I have to look up exactly what the number, 2% of his brain. And I'm sure we use, only 1% of that, of what we use of our brain. What we use of our heart to understand the truth is only 1% of that. And what we use of our soul is like, 0.0000% of that. So in other words, what man is not really revealed now. We're only using a very small fraction of our humanness, to the degree that people are devoted to being inhuman. Inhuman is like a really good thing. Look at the Germans, look at that's communists, right? Inhumanity is a very valuable commodity today. The more inhuman that you are, the more popular you are, and the more money you can make, and the more success you can have. So it says in the future, humans are going to be humans. And then it's going to be possible for the Jewish people to understand ideas which are incomprehensible today. That's what Moshiach is going to do. He's going to open the minds of everybody. And also, that's in regard to the Torah. In regard to the novelties, what about the laws? That's the understanding, the secrets of the Torah. What about the laws of the Torah? Like we said, as far as up to now, we've only discussed one law that's going to change. As far as I know, that's the only one. And it'll be permissible. The ox which was slaughtered by the fins of the fish of the Leviathan will be permissible to eat. We can say, perhaps we can say, Shachirush, that the novelty, the change that will be in the laws of shchita, of slaughtering in the Torah, this is only said, was not said on this weird type of slaughtering. What does it mean the laws of the Torah will change? Says the Rebbe, it's not so. The laws of the Torah will never change. It's just that in this weird case where the fish is going to slaughter an ox, there was never such a thing before. And so the Torah didn't deal with it. In the future, it says there's going to be this bizarre occurrence where there's going to be this huge fish, which is going to be enough for all of the tzaddikim to eat, and this huge ox, which will be the same thing. And they'll have this battle, and the fish will slaughter the ox. This is a thing that never happened before. So the Torah didn't relate to this because there was never such a case. But all the other laws of the Torah will never change. But on the other hand, this will change. To explain, okay, so why is it so important? We'll see in a moment. That this slaughtering is a way of horat shah. This is in a way of what's called a temporary law. Maybe we can say that the change of the law, this is not part of the new law, of the new Torah that's going to be. Shari lamdenu chachamim rishonim mipia shemua mikol bekol im a shemua bekol im yomar l'chal navi, that if a prophet says something to transgress the words of the Torah, then you have to listen to him. Why? Only temporarily. It's brought the example that it's forbidden to offer sacrifices outside of the temple. And Elijah the prophet, he was in the time of the first temple, and he made sacrifices outside of the temple. There was the famous story with him in Mount Carmel, and all of the Jewish people had turned to idolatry in his days. That was in the days of Jezebel, Izebel, and Achav. And anyway, all the Jewish people, they worshiped idols. It's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to understand this now. But in those days, idolatry was a very, very tempting thing. It was a very pleasurable thing to worship idols. Much more so now. And all the people were lured into this. All the Jews, they were lured into worshiping idols. They were worshiping the Baal, whatever this, some sort of a sun god. That's not Baal Peor. Anyway, it's something. And so he said, let's go on Mount Carmel and we'll make a duel. Me against all of the prophets of the Baal. So there was, how many were there? I have to look and see. 300, I think. 300, 600 prophets of the Baal. And they offered up their offerings. In any case, fire came down from heaven. And Elijah the prophet, he offered up his offering on the mountain of Mount Carmel. And fire came down from heaven and consumed his offering, and it didn't offer this. So the question is, how did he make an offering outside of the base of Mikdash? So the answer is it was horat shah. It was a temporary law. And if a prophet says, he was a genuine prophet. If a genuine prophet says that you can transgress a law of the Torah temporarily, except for idolatry, temporarily, then you're allowed to do it. I don't know about murder. I don't know how that figures out. But anyways, it says that idolatry, if he says to worship an idol, even for 1 second, you can't do it. But so therefore, it was what's called a harasha. Maybe we can say the same thing with this ox and the fish. That it was just, it'll be a temporary thing, a one-time thing, a fish killing an ox. Also, a fish can't kill an ox, and they killed it with its fins that are serrated. Yesh Lomo, we can say that this idea of slaughtering, the ox is slaughtered with the fins of the fish, it's not like the same thing as Elijah the prophet with the in Mount Carmel. Ki'im, but it's a chirush Torah. The laws of shechit of the Torah were not made for this. In other words, it's a permanent law. In the time of the Moshiach is going to be a permanent law. Anytime a big fish like this slaughters an ox, even though it's with its fins, that ox is going to be permissible. It wasn't just a temporary thing. Maybe we can say it was a permanent thing. Yesh Lahosif, we can understand that we also find similarly, like the Rogachover finds, there was a big genius called the Rogachover Gaon, Rebbe Yosef Ruzhin was his name. In regarding to of Elijah, the Mount Carmel, right, that he learned from what it says, Yishomer lecha pentale olotecha v'kol makom asher tireh. He said, it says in the Torah, beware of offering up offerings in any other place except for where I tell you. God said you can't do it anymore. There used to be a time when there was what's called the Bama, and people could offer up offerings in their backyard. But when the temple was made, as it says, you have to be careful never to offer a place except in the place where I told you. Asher tereh, where I showed you. But you can offer up an offering in a place where a prophet says, because tireh, God told the prophet to do it. So why do you have to have a learning for this idea of a Rosh Shah, right? It's not a temporary thing. This is a permanent thing. Anytime God tells a prophet to do something, and offerings, as far as offerings goes, as you can offer up wherever the prophet says. So it could be that this is not a temporary law. It was a permanent law also. Afilu omer lecha, even if he says omer al achas mi mitzvahs Torah, akol lifi shah shame'alo. The laws of sacrifices by a prophet, if God tells him to, then that's permanent. That's not called a harat shah. That's permanent. But on the other hand, there is a law that if a prophet tells you to do anything else, then you can do it, not just sacrifice, but only temporarily. The novelty is ein alav shum shechute chutz kalal v'hu korban. And the law is, the novelty is it's not called shame, it's not called slaughtering outside, and it is considered to be an offering, namely, she'ein zeheter la'avor al isur. This God did not permit him to do it. The God will not permit us to do it. This eat from this ox that the fish is going to slaughter. That when an ox is slaughtered by a fish, there was never such a law that it's forbidden. There was never such a law. And as soon as it happens, then Moshiach is going to reveal this new law. What does it mean, new law? It was a law that was just waiting for this case. But it's not really a new law because all the laws previously did not relate to this case of a fish slaughtering an ox. We can say similarly is also the novelty of the Shor Bor with the fins, that God will reveal a new Torah, and the new Torah that cannot be revealed now by learning. Shadini Shchita, that the laws of slaughtering that we've been learning up to now, right in the beginning of the laws in Yeridea, were never mentioned about they weren't talking about such a thing. And even though that this novelty is not able to be revealed by means of learning Torah, that even the biggest genius cannot extrapolate this law when the fish slaughters the ox that is permissible, only God himself can reveal it. But nevertheless, this is not considered to be that the Torah can never be changed by God. Once it's given, the Torah can't be changed. It's being changed. Why? Because the Melech HaMashiach, that he's wise more than even King Solomon, that the King Mashiach, he's going to explain that this new Torah that's going to come from God, he'll explain it to the Beit Din, to the judicial court in Jerusalem that's going to be in the time of the Mashiach, in a way that it's going to be understood by them in logic and grasping in their mind, so Sanhedrin. And since that they are the main Torah, the oral Torah, then therefore whatever they decide is going to be a law for all the Jewish people. It won't be a law from heaven. So what's the Rebbe saying over here? It is very essential that when Mashiach comes, that we will understand as much as possible, and we'll be able to understand things which today are impossible. And the Mashiach, therefore, the Mashiach is going to explain these new laws to the Sanhedrin, to the judicial court, in a way that they can understand it. He'll bring new ideas, new explanations in the Torah that never have been before. And the Sanhedrin, the judicial court, they'll agree. And then it'll be even the novelty, the novel ideas of the Torah that come only from God. There'll be things which will be able to be understood by us. Things which will Devorim shalamdum mipidatam be'achat min midot, that they'll be able to be learned according to one of the principles by which Torah is learned. Nidrash be'em nira beinenu shedavar zakenu. So what's the Rebbe trying to stress over here? That all of the laws and all of the big miracles that are going to happen, a very essential aspect of them is that they'll be understood by us. Our minds will be increased in understanding, and we will be able to grasp how these new ideas are not really changes in the Torah, that they were always in the Torah, that they were always concealed in the Torah. But just the Moshiach was able to bring it out. Just like I said, gave the example yesterday, that who would dream that from a piece of rock, you could bring out atomic power, right? That you break open the atoms. Right? Who would dream of that's even more concealed than a spark is concealed in a flintstone. But it's concealed there. And the same thing, Mashiach is going to reveal the true inner meanings of the Torah that were concealed, so that not only will there be the mysteries of the Torah, but it'll also be related to day-to-day activities. Okay, let's just do a little bit more. We'll just finish this. Since that these two things, Chidush b'Hiskalus Tami v'Sodas Torah, since there's going to be a novelty in the revelation of the reasons and the secrets of the Torah, and that's number one. And number two, there's also going to be a novelty in the laws of the Torah, like this case of the ox being slaughtered by the fish. These are two different explanations. What we said about the new Torah, in other words, the new Torah is going to be the ideas of the Torah will be new, and also the laws of the Torah will be new. So therefore, we can say that there's an attachment between them, namely that the novelty in the laws of the Torah is a result of the revelation of the secrets of the Torah. Okay, now we have to understand this, and this is where we're going to end today. Just one more thing. The Rebbe wants to stress to us that the main thing of Mashiach, the main accomplishment of the Mashiach is the Torah. Everything is going to be done according to the Torah and through the Torah. That's one of the big reasons why one of the criteria of Mashiach is Torah. Torah. Is the Mashiach bringing people closer to the Torah? That the Jews will do more commandments? The Jews will be careful in living according to the commandments of the Torah? If so, it's a chance that he's Mashiach, because that's the idea of Mashiach, to increase Torah learning in the whole world. That's one of the biggest proofs that the Lubavitcher Rebbe is the Mashiach, and he continues to be the Mashiach, even though that he's not here according to our normal senses, because increasing Torah and commandments, more and more and more and more Jews are doing the commandments. It's really quite astounding. I go every Friday and put tefillin, ask people to put on tefillin in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is like especially where I am, that's one of the how do you say, the sources, the hardcore bastions of atheism over there. And I'm just amazed at how many people put on tefillin. I'm amazed. And how many people tell me that I would never dream. They say, oh, I already put on tefillin. People with tattoos and with earrings and with no kippah, no anything of this. Oh, I put on tefillin every day. And they say it in a nice way. Those same people used to say, leave me alone, go back home, go back to Poland or something like that. Really. And even 20 years ago, they used to say it. And now you don't get that at all anymore. The people that look exactly like the same as the people that 20 years ago used to say, get out of here. This is not your country. Get out of here. What are you trying to do? And now all of a sudden, it's just the whole consciousness has changed. And Lubavitcher Rebbe did the whole thing. These people are putting on tefillin no one would dream. Okay, so it says that's the whole idea of the new Torah. What is the connection between this new Torah, that the laws of slaughtering were not said about the ox which was slaughtered by the fish? And that's going to be revealed. Why? Because of the deep secrets of the Torah, the mysteries. Therefore, there will be revealed this novelty in the future specifically, that the new Torah is going to come from me. And what's going to be the big novelty? How is it going to be expressed? That the ox, which is slaughtered by the fish, we can eat. What? And that depends on the deepest secrets of the Torah. What is the connection between the two of them? What's so important about this ox? This and more we're going to learn tomorrow. Okay, now let us learn the Dvar Malchut. Today was a very eventful day. The lighting is here bad. I'm going to have to get a better light.
Story? And a story?
No, the story will be at 3 o'clock because it's really late. It's late. 1 second. Let me do this.
Okay.
You meant the Hayom because you said Dvar Malchut.
Yeah. I'm going to do the Dvar Malchut now.
Dvar Malchut? Oh, I thought we just did that.
No, not the Dvar Malchut. I'm sorry. You said Dvar Malchut. I meant the Yom Yom. Hayom Yom.
Yom, okay.
The table here is a little bit smaller. Here it is. Gotta make these things bigger. I'll figure out a way to do it. Here we go. Study a Yom. Oh. Our teacher, the Baal Shem Tov. Oh, no, I have to record. 1 minute. Oh, is this going over here? There we go. No, we didn't.